How should we go about challenging a consensus? Whether it's a scholarly theory or a popular opinion, pushing back against the standard view requires more than just a different opinion. It requires a specific approach. Today, I want to look at how to do that effectively using a recent interview with Dr. David Allen Black by Elgin Hushbeck Jr. and Larissa Muntz on their Into the Desert Ideas YouTube channel and podcast as our guide. The interview focused on Dave's book, Why Four Gospels, which has been available for some time, but which we recently released as an audiobook. I have a unique perspective on this. I am the publisher of the books discussed, and I've worked closely with both author and interviewer for years. In fact, I was delighted to be able to pick up Why Four Gospels after a previous publisher let it go out of print because I believe its challenge to the scholarly consensus or the scholarly mainstream is a vital resource for students and seminarians alike. From Dave's work in this interview, I've distilled 3 principles for anyone looking to present a robust challenge to a consensus view. Key number 1. First, avoid the trap of making it about a test of faith. There is a common stereotype that conservative scholars only hold certain views, like the early dating of the Gospels, because their religion requires them to. But as Dave's publisher and friend, I can tell you he has never asked me to accept a position simply because it was the acceptable conservative view. He is a person of deep faith, but his arguments are built on evidence. We must remember that someone might hold a conservative view because they find the evidence compelling, not because they are ignoring the evidence in favor of their tradition. But also do note that it's not just conservatives who have traditions. Any point of view is likely to have consensus ideas that are not challenged and need to be. Second key, be explicit about your methodology. You must be clear about your methodology. This is where the straight line of an argument, the one that people can follow, is actually formed. Let's look at a case study. Another book I published for Dave, The Authorship of Hebrews, The Case for Paul. Now, full disclosure, I actually disagree with Dave's conclusion here. I tend to think the author of Hebrews is unknown. However, I published the book because his methodology is so clear. He also presents some carefully chosen and organized data that is hard to find in a single source elsewhere. In a small booklet here, just about 40 pages, he demonstrates how to challenge a very strong scholarly consensus. Dave talks about his method. He prioritizes external evidence, the testimony of the early church fathers. I tend to weigh internal evidence, the specific vocabulary and style of the Greek text, more heavily. Because Dave is explicit about his method, we can see exactly why we reach different conclusions. We aren't just shouting yes and no at each other. We are having a productive conversation about which types of evidence should carry the most weight. Third key, finally here, show respect to your opponents. As an editor, I'm often the unreasonable person insisting on word counts and brevity, which means we can't always rebut every single opposing scholar in detail. But brevity isn't an excuse for rudeness. Dave argues with vigor and confidence, but he maintains a genuine respect for those he is challenging. If you want your challenge to be taken seriously, you must treat the consensus and the people who hold it with professional and scholarly courtesy. Confidence is not the same thing as disrespect. My goal as a publisher is to see these kinds of robust, respectful challenges become the norm. I hope the interview and these books that I will list in the resources page will help you navigate your own study of these issues. The resources and books I've mentioned in this video are listed at the link below. Thanks for watching. And remember, consider the evidence.